Hey everyone, today I've got a really bizarre and unsettling true story to share. It's something that happened to a close friend of mine, Mike, who's an underground rapper here in LA. We met during a local music showcase back in 2017 and quickly became good friends. But this isn't about music, it's about a night that went terribly wrong. So, let's get into it. One Friday night, Mike and I were invited to an exclusive party at a popular nightclub downtown. We'd met up earlier at a bar, had a few drinks, and then headed over. The club gave us VIP treatment, complete with complimentary bottles of champagne. Now mixing champagne with the whiskey we'd had earlier wasn't a smart move. Within an hour, we were both completely wasted. At some point, Mike became nearly unconscious at our table, so the club staff arranged a rideshare for him. I vaguely recall giving the driver Mike's apartment address before stumbling home myself. The next day around noon, I texted Mike asking if he got home okay. The response I got hours later wasn't what I expected. Mike called, clearly shaken, and told me something horrifying. When Mike had opened his eyes that morning, he found himself on a couch in an unfamiliar living room, completely naked, no blanket or anything. Groggy and hungover, he initially assumed he'd made it home, but quickly realized something was off. The couch wasn't his, the room wasn't familiar, and worst of all, standing near the kitchen was a woman he'd never seen before, calmly watching him. She was a middle-aged woman, maybe early 40s, wearing a simple navy sweatshirt and gray sweatpants. Her hair was loosely tied back, and she had thick-rimmed glasses. She just stood there, silently watching him. Panicking, Mike tried to cover himself with his hands, stammering apologies and frantically asking, "Who are you? Where am I?" She didn't react. Instead, she smiled softly and pointed towards the dining table. There, neatly folded, were all his clothes. Mortified, Mike quickly got dressed, his mind racing. How had he gotten here? He asked the woman if she knew what happened, and that's when things got even stranger. Suddenly, her pleasant demeanor vanished. She sat down across from him and began to speak very seriously.
You really need to be careful. You're lucky my husband wasn't home. He's away on business. If he found you here like this, it would have been bad. Really bad.
While speaking, she kept spitting into a paper cup. Each sentence ended with her hawking up saliva and depositing it into the cup. Mike was disgusted and terrified. She then stood up abruptly, pacing around the room, repeatedly muttering,
Sophia, are you awake? Mom, are you awake yet?
Mike grew increasingly uncomfortable. She just said no one else was home, but now she seemed to be talking to other people. The situation escalated when Mike noticed her eyes. They were moving rapidly in opposite directions, spinning uncontrollably. That's when he knew he had to get out immediately. Without saying another word, Mike grabbed his jacket and bolted out the door, nearly falling down the stairs in his rush to escape. Once outside, he realized he was still in his apartment complex, but in a different building entirely, on the opposite side from his actual unit. When Mike finally got home, he was shaking uncontrollably. As he changed clothes, he noticed something unsettling. His entire body smelled like saliva. He showered immediately, trying to scrub away the eerie encounter. Later, he noticed he'd left behind an expensive watch and a necklace. Determined to retrieve them, but terrified of confronting that woman again, he left anonymous notes in that building's lobby. A few days later, he received a strange text. photo of his watch and necklace, accompanied by a winking emoji. Reluctantly, Mike agreed to meet her in a public park near the apartments. When she arrived, she looked completely different, overdressed, heavily made up, and unsettlingly cheerful. She returned his items, then suddenly leaned in, whispering something nonsensical.
Sophia wanted chili, but my husband got stuck in Texas after a tire blew out while fishing for salmon in Alaska.
Mike immediately backed away, thanked her hastily, and turned to leave. As he was walking away, she called out, holding up a pack of cigarettes he'd dropped.
Don't forget these. I wrote you something special.
He took the cigarettes, only to find later at home a disturbing handwritten note. "I love you, cigarette boy." Mike never saw her again, and he soon moved out of that apartment complex. To this day, he still can't fully explain what happened or how he ended up in that woman's home. He believes she wasn't just mentally unstable. He thinks there was something paranormal about her, especially recalling how unnaturally her eyes moved. Ever since that incident, Mike has completely quit drinking heavily, terrified of ever encountering something like that again. It's a night he, and now probably all of us, won't soon forget.